Just a few days before his death, Albert Einstein spoke a truth that, if you truly understand it, will completely shatter your perspective on life. He said, "The distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion." At this exact microsecond, as you hear me say this, you are being born. You are making the biggest mistake of your life. You are getting married, and your funeral is already underway. You think you moved from yesterday into today and will head into tomorrow, but modern physics laughs right in the face of that naivety. The most terrifying truth of physics is that the future isn't coming. The future has already happened. Your next decision, your next tear, your next thought, and your very last breath are eternally fixed in the four-dimensional fabric of the cosmos. You aren't flowing down a river. You are simply experiencing a single frame inside a frozen movie reel. But think about it. If the future is already written, then who is the one inside your head right now, singing the tune of my life, my decisions? Is your ego, your free will, your very personality, just a lie constructed by your brain to keep you from going insane? Before I answer this horrifying question, I need to take you into a mind-bending paradox that proves your today and someone else's tomorrow exist at the exact same time. Since childhood, we've all believed that time moves straight like an arrow. The past crumbles into dust behind us. We breathe in the present, and the future is being built somewhere ahead in blank space. But when Einstein dropped the bomb of special relativity in 1905, he blew this romantic idea of time into 1,000 pieces. Einstein showed that across the entire universe, there is no such thing as an absolute now. You watching this video on your screen right now is the present for you. But if an alien sitting in another part of the cosmos looked at Earth through a massive telescope, they wouldn't see you. They would see dinosaurs roaming the Earth, or maybe no Earth at all. Your today has already become their past, and their today hasn't even arrived for you yet. Now I'm about to tell you something that makes theoretical physicists around the world break out in a cold sweat, even on a freezing mountain peak. A concept that has shattered the minds of great intellects for centuries. If there is no absolute now in the universe, what does that actually mean, brother? It simply means that space-time isn't a flowing river. It's a massive frozen block. A block where every single event that ever happened, that is happening right now, and that will happen thousands of years in the future, all exists simultaneously, in one place, forever. In physics, this is known as the block universe theory, or eternalism. To understand this in simple terms, let's take a brilliant example. Imagine a giant 3D loaf of bread. This loaf of bread is the entire universe. At one end of the loaf is the Big Bang, the beginning of the universe, and at the other end is the end of the universe. If you cut this bread straight down, you get a single slice that you can call your present moment. But what happens if you slice this bread at an angle? The slices of past and future get mixed together in your cut. Meaning, what is the future for you becomes the past for someone else. And physics tells us there is no universal cutter slicing the bread at the exact same angle for everyone. Every moving object makes its own unique cut. Now you might ask, brother, does the future start existing in advance just because someone moves or walks? This is where the Andromeda Paradox comes in, discovered by two great physicists named Ruthless and Putnam. This isn't sci-fi movie magic, my friend. This is pure mathematical relativity. Imagine you're standing peacefully on your street and a person slowly rides past you on a bicycle. You're both on the same ground, breathing the same air, looking at the exact same clock. But because that person is moving forward on a bicycle while you're standing still, there is a tiny difference in speed between the two of you. Because of this minuscule speed difference, something happens 2.5 million light-years away in the Andromeda galaxy that will blow your mind. For you, standing still on the street, the alien space fleet in the Andromeda galaxy might not have even planned an attack on Earth yet. Their invasion is still in your future. But for the person riding the bicycle past you, according to their moving timeline, those aliens in the Andromeda galaxy have already launched their space fleet toward Earth. They're on their way, and the attack has already happened. Think about that, brother. For two people standing in the exact same spot, an event that hasn't even happened for one person has already become history for the other. Now you'll ask, brother, how can someone simply riding a bicycle change a timeline that far away? The secret lies in the most fundamental rule of Einstein's relativity. The speed of light remains constant for everyone, whether you're standing still or zooming in a rocket. Because of this, the present moment in the universe isn't a flat surface. It's like an insanely long imaginary laser beam that tilts whenever you move. When you stand completely still on the ground, your line of now shoots straight through space. But as soon as you start walking in any direction, your movement tilts the angle of your present moment line just a tiny bit. Around you, this slight tilt doesn't make even a nanosecond of difference, which is why you never feel it in daily life. But brother, when that same slightly tilted line travels 2.5 million light-years out to the Andromeda galaxy, that's where the real game begins. Imagine holding an impossibly long ruler. If you tilt your end up or down by just a single millimeter, the other end 2.5 million light-years away will swing across a distance of days or weeks. That's the exact physical geometry at work here. The cyclist moving forward tilted their present moment angle by barely a fraction of an inch. But because the distance was so insanely huge, by the time that line reached Andromeda, that tiny tilt created a time shift of several days. While you stood still thinking the aliens were merely planning an attack, on the cyclist's tilted timeline, those same aliens had already launched their attack and were en route. This isn't a trick of the mind or magic. It is the real geometry of space-time. If that future event, the alien invasion, wasn't already present in the 4D fabric of the universe, how could someone riding a bike at just 5 miles per hour suddenly cause it to exist? Your movement isn't creating a new reality, it's simply tilting your line of sight inside a pre-existing block universe. The direct and terrifying implication is that the future event in Andromeda was already fixed there. Your past, your present, and your entire future are already printed with absolute perfection on the 4D map of the universe. You are merely scanning different frames of that printed sheet based on your speed and position. But now your inner ego will start fighting back. You'll say, brother, if everything is already written, then what about what I'm thinking right now? If I want, I can close this video right now or get up and grab a glass of water. That's my decision, isn't it? This is where your brain creates your ultimate misconception. You feel like you're making choices, but neuroscience and physics together reveal that your brain merely sends you a notification of the decision after the fact. Benjamin Libet's famous neuro experiments proved that when you make a choice, like lifting your hand, your brain's neurons fire that action half a second before you even become consciously aware of it. Your consciousness is just like a news anchor coming into the studio to read breaking news after the event has already happened, while you sit there believing the news anchor caused the event. Your consciousness is like a laser beam. Imagine a DVD disc. On that round plastic disc, the entire movie from the first second to the climax is already recorded. When the hero cries, dies, or wins on screen, it's all fixed. But as the laser beam reads the disc, every frame feels brand new to the laser. It feels as if the movie is unfolding in real time. Your brain is that laser light, scanning the frames of the 4D block universe one by one, while your consciousness lives in the illusion that you are the director of the film. The truth is, you aren't the director. You're just a spectator sitting in the theater, entirely powerless to change the movie playing on the screen. Now I'm going to tell you something that will shatter the foundation of your reality even further. A twist that arrived in the physics world with the advent of quantum mechanics. Einstein claimed the universe is deterministic and everything is fixed. But when quantum scientists peeked inside the smallest particles of the universe, electrons and photons, they discovered something that shocked even Einstein and blew his mind. A brilliant quantum physicist named John Wheeler designed a setup known as the delayed choice experiment. This experiment is so mind-bending that it set fire to everything we thought we knew about science and philosophy. Standard physics tells us that the past always creates the future, meaning cause comes first, followed by effect. You throw a stone first, and then the glass breaks. But Wheeler's quantum experiment showed that when we observe a quantum particle today, in this very moment, our observation today forces that particle to decide how it should have behaved in the past, thousands of years ago. In physics, this is called retrocausality. Do you grasp what this means, brother? It means the effect can happen first, and the cause comes later. The future can walk backward and create the past. Quantum physics suggests the past isn't rigidly fixed. Instead, it remains a hazy cloud of thousands of possibilities until an observer sitting in the future looks at it and locks it in place. So the question arises, if the future creates the past, and the past is already printed in a block universe, then who actually owns this time loop? Is the universe an endless looping cosmic code running without a beginning or an end? When modern science grinds to a halt here and its supercomputers blow a fuse, thousands of years old Western and Indian philosophy steps forward to soothe the wounds of physics. Ancient Indian Vedanta stated centuries ago the exact truth we are hunting down today with multi-billion-dollar particle accelerators. In Vedanta, time is called Kal, and this entire visible reality is called Maya, an illusion. Philosophers like Osho pointed out that the mind's sole job is manufacturing time. The mind can either drag around the corpse of the past or weave beautiful dreams of the future. The mind can never truly reside in the present because the moment you utter present, that instant has already slipped into the past. But your true consciousness, your pure self, what the Upanishads call the Atman or witness consciousness, doesn't exist inside time at all. It is timeless, beyond time. Your physical body and your brain are just a tiny slice of the 4D block universe, born in 1990 or 2000, that will eventually crumble into dust. Your brain is a biological computer processing frames of past and future. But you, the one sitting inside watching this entire show, are the screen upon which this 4D movie is playing. No matter how much fire burns on screen, the cinema screen never catches fire. No matter how much water flows across it, the screen never gets wet. Characters in the movie die, win or cry, but the screen remains perpetually untouched. Imagine if you started looking at your life through this ruthless detachment. Every single weight on your shoulders would turn to dust in a second. What's your biggest anxiety right now? Worrying about tomorrow's exam? Fear over your career? The regret of someone leaving you? Or the terror of death? The block universe and eternalism are screaming at you that the entire painting is already finished. You don't need to worry about the future because your future is already carved into space-time with absolute perfection. You're just a curious viewer watching the film, not its director. Your only job is to live through the experience. Once a person truly grasps the depth of this reality, the ultimate illusion within them, anxiety, is permanently wiped out. Anxiety only exists when you believe the future rests entirely on your shoulders, that if you make one wrong move, everything will be ruined. But when physics proves that your very next step is already locked into the matrix of the cosmos, your ego completely surrenders. You begin to observe your life like a spectator. You laugh at your failures and stop dancing like a lunatic over your victories, because you know all of it was recorded on tape long ago. But the story doesn't end here, brother. There is one final, terrifying piece of suspense left that will keep you up at night. If we are all frozen statues inside a four-dimensional block universe merely pretending to move forward, then who is watching this entire block universe? Who is the universal observer in whose mind this 4D block exists as a single snapshot? Science doesn't have a concrete mathematical answer to this question just yet, but the latest theories in quantum gravity and the holographic principle suggest that this entire universe might just be the refraction of a single consciousness reflected in different mirrors. You, me, Einstein, and the aliens in the Andromeda galaxy, we are all different eyes of the exact same universal mind, wearing the glasses of space-time to give ourselves the false experience of existing in separate timelines so the universe can know itself. We are the universe experiencing itself in fragmented slices of time. So the next time you hear the ticking of the watch on your wrist, pause for a second and smile. The hands of the clock aren't moving forward. They're simply stepping you onto the next frame across the frozen carpet of space-time. Your future has already happened. Your past is still alive, and you are immortal in the fabric of this cosmos. You have nothing to fear because the game is already over. You're just watching the highlight reel. If this video blew your mind and forced you to look at reality from a whole new angle, hit that subscribe button right now, my friend, and share this video with anyone losing sleep, worrying about the future. Drop a comment below. Do you still believe your choices are your own? Or are you just an actor reading a cosmic script? The next episode is going to be even darker, deeper, and more psychological. Stay tuned, brother.